up, Cowboy fans and YouTubers? It's that VA Dallas Cowboy fan coming back at you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting down below. I make these videos for me and you, and they're therapeutic, you know? I'm just now coming out from the doctor's office and the lab core. You know, had some work done. Well, it's my usual yearly stuff. Everything's okay. I'm fine. Little overweight, need to diet, you know, the usual stuff. But everything else is good. But you're not here for that. But I just wanted to say that, you know, keep yourself healthy, stay safe, you know, because out here anything can happen and you just wouldn't know it until it's probably too late. So, as Mark Holmes says, stay your ass at home. But today's video, I'm going to put the link below. There's going to be a link to an article that I read from Blogging the Boys, I do believe, or one of the Cowboys websites. It's a lovely article about 26 years ago, yesterday. It was the divorce heard around the world when Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson parted ways. They smiled to the cameras, tried to talk each other up, make each other look good, but we knew in the end they just hated each other. And it's not as visceral as it was 26 years ago when it happened, but it's still not to the point where Jerry will say he was wrong or put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor. And Jimmy's not going to back down from his stance that he wasn't in the wrong. So, you know, as they get older and, you know, time slips away, you think that the pettiness between those two would be over, but it's not. But at least they can come to a mutual respect to where they can actually stand next to each other, basically. And in Jerry Jones's enshrinement into Canton, he did speak about Jimmy Johnson and his effect on him and the Cowboys. They did take a picture together with Jerry's bust. And as far as Jimmy going in, he has tweeted that Troy Aikman will be his presenter, and the person putting the actual gold jacket on him will be none other than Terry Bradshaw. So, in keeping with the Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, I wouldn't say rivalry right now, but a lot of good games and Super Bowls came between the two teams, and the Hall of Fame game, which probably won't be played, along with their coach, Bill Cowher, going into the Hall of Fame. It's a nice touch for the two organizations to have that, you know. At one time, these two were the biggest two teams out there. They dominated the 70s, playing against each other. They had a nice match in the Super Bowl 30. And the last couple times we've met at either Cowboy Stadium or Heinz Field has been memorable in some way or another. So, you know, it was a nice bit to see that Jimmy was going to do that. But I bring that up because in the article, Jerry talks about how a lot of stuff he did regret about the divorce between him and Jimmy, and how he should have had patience and understanding and kind of bit the bullet on his ego when things were actually going well, and that they could have had a spectacular run of Super Bowls possibly if they'd had just, you know, kept it about the business, kept it about the boys, and not, you know, the bull between them two. Now, who knows where this team would be. But I brought that up because it's funny how that went and how that soured to where, you know, the quote about any coach, 500 other guys can win with the team that Jimmy built. And it's like funny because you probably were thinking that when Bill Parcells and Wade Phillips built teams, and then you had Jason Garrett take over. And you showed that exact patience that you didn't have for Jimmy on Jason Garrett. But Jason Garrett never got to the level that Jimmy Johnson was. And that's what has dumbfounded younger Cowboy fans, because that's all they know. They don't know the glory days of the 90s, because all they know is Jason Garrett for a decade. And you think, wow, you got rid of Jimmy 5 years in when you were winning Super Bowls and actually had a team built to win more before he left. But then you have a team built and centered with Jason Garrett, and he did absolutely nothing with it. And you use that patience that you didn't have with Jimmy and used it on Garrett, and he showed that he couldn't do squat in double the time that Jimmy had. So it's just funny how that relates, where one coach was a Super Bowl winning coach for you, and y'all couldn't get on the same page. Y'all were younger and ego driven, and 5 years later y'all broke up, and y'all could have done more, to where you got a coach for 10 years. Y'all were seeing eye to eye. You're like family, and the man couldn't even get you past a wild card round or a divisional round, really. And it's like, how do you go from 5 years Super Bowl winning coach and not being eye to eye to seeing eye to eye 10 years and 0 NFC championships? But, you know, that's funny. I don't know. Maybe it came with Jerry's age, that he didn't want to do the same thing he did with Jimmy if he saw that Garrett was actually going to lead him to the promised land. Unfortunately, in double the time he had than Jimmy, he couldn't even come close to what Jimmy produced. So, I mean, if Jerry wants to take the blame for the 90s Cowboys, saying it was all him, then he has to take the blame for the 2000, 2010s, 2000, almost 20s of the Cowboys doing absolutely nothing. Because if you want to take the glory, you got to take the blame. And you've been the only one centered at the middle of it, Jerry. You had it when it was good. You're going to have to own it when it's bad. So, that's all I had to say about that. You know, it was just something I was reading on and, you know, reflecting on while I was sitting in the doctor's office waiting. That it's funny that it's been 26 years and Jimmy's like the last one who actually got us to the promised land. 26 years since they split up. And 10 of those 26, you've had one guy at the helm and he couldn't do squat for you. It is what it is. But just a little something to reflect on, like I said. A little therapeutic while I was sitting there in the doctor's office, just laughing my butt off like, wow. 5 years, Super Bowls, messy divorce. 10 years, 0 NFC championships, and 10 years of I'm going to just keep them around. All right. Happy Monday. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing. If anything comes up today, which I doubt, it seems that the Cowboys are pretty content right now with what they have going into the draft. The only thing they'll probably work on is the Dak Prescott deal, and they got till July on that. And since there's no organized team activities and the facilities are closed, they don't really have a deadline to worry about, because he can't miss anything if there's nothing there, basically. I don't think they thought about that when they did the CBA, to where if you hold out, you'll be fined, because now you don't have to, you can't hold out if there's nothing to do. So, all right, y'all take care. Happy Mondays. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.